Haki is about to make some big waves in the story in the very near future, way bigger than even the madness that we saw on Onigashima, even more so than Luffy, than Kaido, or Big Mom. And right now, I'm looking at two cats in particular to usher in these massive waves of Haki, levels of Haki we have potentially never seen before in the story. One character for damn sure, and that is the red hair wonder, Shanks. A second character, most likely, and that is Garp Joe. Now, originally, this video is going to be a Garp Blackbeard focused video, but 1076 changed my mind. Help me! Come on, yeah. Listen, you know the drill. The red hair wonder is about to pop off in ways unseen, because this is the final saga of the story, and Oda is ready, I think, to show us a lot of different things, including more of what Shanks can do. However, when it comes to the Garp side of things, this is a lot more dicier. Place your bets. Garp or Blackbeard. Who do you got? Blackbeard is a character that most folks would consider to be among the strongest individuals in the verse right now. We saw Haki Lightning infuse into his attacks against Law and his crew, and even showed hardening against S-Hawk, who at that point in time even cut through the giant mountain, the main mountain of Amazon Lily. However, the hero, Garp, looking hella confident right now. Just give me a few good lads and we'll pull up and save Kobe. But at the same time, it's very clear that Garp is not the man that he once was during Roger's heyday. And one of the key things here, moving forward, of course, with Garp is going to be, does Garp have Conqueror's Haki or not? I think it's likely, but we don't know. We do know that Sengoku has it because the River cards tells us that much. Sengoku has confirmed Conqueror's Haki. What about Garp? But even if Garp does not have Conqueror's Haki, I'm willing to bet that Garp can show us a level of armament Haki that we have never seen before. And a lot of this is going to be predicated on a particular attribute, a very important attribute that Haki has that moving forward I think is going to be very, very important. And this essentially kind of boils down to what we saw in chapter 1009, where within his room, Law realized that he couldn't teleport, let alone even move Big Mom and Kaido, because the levels of Haki that they were exuding were too much for his ability. And then from that experience, Law realized he could counter some Deathroot aspects with intense enough Haki. Now, the key thing here with Shanks and Garp is that, like Roger, these guys do not have Devil Fruits. Now, maybe Shanks has some theoretical, crazy, whatever the hell, like the Jesus fruit, Hito Hito no Mi Maro Yahweh. Maybe. However, I'm willing to bet that Shanks doesn't have a single speck of Devil Fruit DNA in his body, which means that he is as strong as he is predominantly because of the magnitude of his Haki. When you look at, let's say, someone like Roger, when we see him in the Odin flashback, could fight against Whitebeard for several days on end in a stalemate, despite the fact that Whitebeard has one of the strongest recorded abilities in the verse. This man, Roger, was terminally ill, but Roger could still do so well against prime Whitebeard. Why is that? The primary reason, of course, Haki. What did Kaido say to Luffy in 1047 before he slams him with the Destroyer of Death Thunder Bagua? He says that Roger could conquer the seas with Haki alone. Haki can transcend all. And guys like Shanks and Garp, when it came to their strengths, had to predominantly focus on that ability that could, once again, transcend all. And moving forward, Haki's ability to snuff out, to counter different powers, I think is going to be a prima thing for the final saga. And in a sense, so far, what Haki can counter when it comes to different powers is the application, the administration of those abilities on said person. Law tried to administer the properties of his own room to Big Mom and Kaido to move them, but he couldn't do so because their Haki was too powerful. When Doc Q administered the gender-changing disease to Law was able to overcome that by focusing on intense Haki. This was also something first indicated by Doflamingo when Virgo and Law had their final clash, before Law cut through the entire mountain range. Doflamingo stated that Law's ability wouldn't work on Virgo because of how powerful Virgo's Haki was. So in their two cases, Virgo and Law, you clearly don't need Conqueror's Haki to negate the effects of devil fruits. And I think it kind of harkens back to one of like the fundamental things about Armored Haki. With Logias, you can actually damage their soul / true forms directly. Maybe the reason why it can negate devil fruit abilities to an extent, at least the ones where they try to apply or administer that ability to said person, is because Armored Haki maintains or fortifies someone's true form or soul after Armored Haki is founded on said soul aspects. So that fortification of one's essence could prevent unnatural status effects via devil fruits, or potentially in general, but I'll tackle that later in the video. So now let's focus on the immediate future. Garp and Shanks. What are we going to see in the future that's going to showcase more of Haki's ability to negate the powers of devil fruits? Number one, Garp, like Law, will be able to counter the effects of Dakyu's sick fruit. Law could do it with his level of Haki, and I don't see Garp having a lower level of Haki than Law. I will keep it a stack. So I don't see Grandma Garp ever being a thing, at least not for long. Oda, I am praying no Grandma Garp. Please! The community about to be a very unsavory place if those pictures ever manifest. I don't want to even go into that rabbit hole, but I'm saying for the most part, that's gonna probably be unlikely. That's number one. Number two for Garp is that if Garp's Haki is gonna be on like a whole nother level, despite his old age, then he could counter Von Augur's Warp fruit too. Just how Big Mom and Kaido could counter Law's room warping, I could see the same thing occurring with Garp and Von Augur's warping ability. This would go double if Garp had Conqueror's Haki, and just how Luffy could coat himself with Conqueror's Haki and Armor Haki at the same time over his whole body in chapter 1045, Garp could do something similar. And then after that, if Gecko Moria is siding with the Black BB Pirates Company, I do not see Garp Shadow getting taken by Gecko Moria because of his strong Haki. There is an aspect here where the shadow of someone in the world of One Piece in some ways ties to their soul. And again, I would explain here that in some sense you can argue that Haki, at least Armor Haki and Conqueror's Haki, fortifies one's soul. So Garp, I think, will be impervious to that ability. And keep in mind this too, Luffy's shadow did resist Moria for a while before fully assimilating into the Oars 900 zombie, Oars Luffy. And we know that Luffy had Haki in the pre-time skip, and it was improving because of Blackbeard's words to Luffy during Impel Down. So there might be a connection there. And someone that has true Haki mastery, like Garp, could just counter that ability wholesale. So that's number one for the immediate future, Garp Chujo. Number two, Shanks, the red hair wonder, the God King. Now, Shanks's Haki might be genuinely strong enough to negate the effects of Kid's awakening, meaning that when we see Kid apply magnetism to Big Mom, and then Big Mom got stuck on one of those giant platforms behind her as a result of that, that wouldn't happen with Shanks's level of Haki. Since Shanks is most likely as powerful as he is because of Haki, and again, according to Kaido's words in 1047, Haki can transcend all. But at the very least, at the bare minimum, I do not see Kid being able to take Shanks' sword from him, and the evidence for that could be what we didn't see against Big Mom, where we didn't see Kid use his abilities to just grab Napoleon from Big Mom. That didn't happen. Now in 1039, I thought there was a moment where he did maybe do that, but when he does assign magnetism to Big Mom seems to let go of Napoleon because of the force of that slam. So when it comes to Haki, countering abilities, the main receiver of this is going to be Kid. It is what it is, so Kid better pucker up. However, there is potentially an even higher level of this, or maybe higher level isn't the right way of saying it, but more so the spectrum is broader than we think here. Because what if this ability of Haki to counter, let's say, unusual status effects does not apply to just devil fruits, but it could apply to things outside of devil fruits as well. What? Whether it's tech related or other unusual status effects. And I think in the near future, there is a possibility that we do see this with Garp and potentially Laffy.
What the fuck?
Because in 576, Laffy explains how he could hypnotize the Marines who were in the control room for the Gates of Justice. And it might not be a different power on the part of Laffy, since we saw way back when in one of the best arcs in One Piece, no cap, allegedly, the Syrup Village arc, Kuro's kind of nasty, but Django could literally hypnotize Kuro's whole crew plus plus Monkey D. Luffy. But when you think about it, being hypnotized is so anti-free will, and a lot of Haki is founded on that particular aspect. So while it's true that, let's say, someone like Katakuri, another god in himself, did get caught up in Caesar Clown's hallucinogenic gas, it is likely, I think, that someone like Garp has stronger Haki than Katakuri. Katakuri has to focus on awakening and different powers and so on and so forth. But again, Garp is more like Roger, where Garp had to focus predominantly on Haki to be as strong as he is and was. I'd argue though that if Katakuri was aware that he was hallucinating back then he would most likely break out of that ability, since just like Law was strong enough Haki, when he was aware that his body was changing into a female, he used Haki to change back into a male. And I should have applied a trigger warning when I said all that. But the whole point here is that that status effect was definitely applied, then Katakuri would have broken out. But the counter effects of Haki applying to even things outside of the devil fruit spectrum could also be the reason why someone like Goldie Roger could be active for so long and fight the way he could despite him being terminally ill. A normal person likely would have been bedridden for that entire process. But someone like Roger, who had stage 7 cancer, probably muscled through because of his intensely powerful Haki. So all in all, when it comes to the counter effects of Haki on devil fruits, this, I think, will be explored in the final saga way more, like 1000% more. Abilities like Foxy's Nor Beam to slow someone down, or let's say Khalifa's skill to turn people's skin extra smooth because of her bubble ability, or Sugar's ability to turn people into toys and everyone across the globe forgets about their very existence, or Dofi's parasite strings, or Law's, of course, teleportation within his room, or Perona's depressing ghost, even Boa Hancock's ability to turn someone to stone. All of these abnormal status effects, all of these administering base death abilities could be countered with insanely strong levels of Haki, at least, of course, in theory. And guys like Shanks and Garp in the near future could prove this theory to be correct, without a doubt. However, there's also the idea of being able to strengthen those abnormal status effects because of Haki. However, I'll keep it a stack here. When it comes to the Haki power system, Oda does keep some things vague for more like creativity reasons. It's not as, let's say, rigid as Nen and Hunter x Hunter. But nonetheless, I do enjoy diving into it, and I'll always try and cut through that veil of ambiguity. So, let me know if you enjoy this video topic with, of course, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side.